If you ask me what Cyberpunk is actually about, my answer would be never give up. Let me explain. The game's abysmal failure of a launch itself is a great example for this. People were waiting more than a decade for this game to release. When it did, it was probably the biggest disappointment of all time. The game was completely buggy, cars would fly across the map at random times, performance on the PS4 was garbage, and couldn't even hold itself properly on the good PCs around that time. And of course, I can't forget about the infamous T-posters that every NPC just wanted to do so bad, which I still see in my playthroughs to this day, and I gotta say I do love the T-posters though. Anyways, with the hype level exceeding the sky, and with a launch that felt like a parody, I got extremely fed up with the game and thought this game is just done for. Player bases started to hit a major dip, and CD Projekt Red knew they were cooked. So, imagine my surprise when they made the comeback of the century. They were far beneath the surface level and climbed up the depths of hell and became one of my favorite video games of all time. This is pure redemption. With that out of the way, let's talk about Night City. Night City feels beautiful to look at. The neon signs that shine all night, coloring the city like a wonderful necklace, the futuristic roads that light up as you drive, the various structures that look like they came out of an artwork, the two giant fishes at the city center, the different landscapes throughout the city and the desert, having individual characteristics of their own, and, of course, the infamous Jojo pose. I had access to an open world that was filled to the brim that no one can never truly be alone. But watching the world through the eyes of our main character V, interacting with the other characters, and slowly understanding about the actuality of Night City paints a picture that maybe the so-called next gen looking city might be the worst place to be in. Personally, I feel that Night City itself is one among the major characters of the game. It has its own story and own characteristics as well. Its character mostly feels like it's trying to consume the life out of each and every person, and that one can never truly achieve a happy ending, as stated in one of the endings itself. Behind all the beauty, there lies an immense amount of cruelty. The beautiful landscapes and everything hides the truth about the actual citizens. Due to the mass increase in the use of technology, most of the people in Night City do not have a regular job, and due to that, massive amount of people are struggling to make ends meet. Only people who are having a proper lifestyle are the people at the top, meaning the corporations and the CEOs. That is also the reason why crime rates are an all-time high in the city. People adapt to whatever means necessary because if basic survival becomes a hindrance, then we just die, and so our instincts kick in and we do whatever we can to get by. The reason as to why I'm so scared of this scenario is because our actual world is also approaching the time where everything is shifting towards the era of AI and technology. Already, most of us rely on AI to do research and stuff. What if they go far and beyond? What will happen to the employment of people? Feels like this is the start of the end times. And seeing the news every day only to realize that another new tech was found that does the work of a human being more efficiently, it's just scary. And we don't know what will happen if that becomes a reality. And to me, Night City felt like a warning. Alright, that's it for my AI rant. Let's talk about the storyline. In Cyberpunk, you play as a mercenary, or in cyberlingual, a merc named V. The backstory for V can vary depending on the life path you choose. If you choose the path of Nomad, V will be a part of the Baker's Nomad family. Or if you choose the path of a Corporal, V will be an employee of the Arasaka. Or if you choose the Street Kid path, which is my first and favorite path, V will be a street kid that grew by the streets of Haywood. Whatever path you choose, the storyline will be the same, only the way you meet up with Jackie and some dialogue options will differ. Now, I'm going to do a quick review or summary of the entire game. Here goes. You team up with Jackie Walls to pull off a major heist, to steal a biochip called the Relic from Arasaka, but the heist completely turns upside down and you almost die. Jackie insists you to insert the relic inside you, so you do it and survive. Then the game takes a huge emotional turn as we witness their buddy Jackie slowly pulls away. We leaves the place promising to Jackie that
See you in the major leagues, Jack.
we later realizes that the chip actually contains the consciousness of the famous rocker boy slash terrorist Johnny Silverhand, played by the one and only, or Angel, Keanu Reeves. Hey, if Keanu was in my mind, I would probably never let him go. I'm just saying. He's the GOAT, but V has to remove him because Johnny is slowly overriding V's mind. So the rest of the story follows the two's journey to find a cure for V, and both of them learning each and everything about one another and teaming up with various allies, and finally decide whether to trust each other or lose everything and give up, or to stand up and fight. As we progress through the storyline, we realize that V wants to become the legend of the Night City, but V also wants to live and be with their people. And Johnny, on the other hand, hates the corporations, and he died trying to blow up the Arasaka Tower. All these circumstances finally reach a crescendo at the top of Misty's shop, and Misty is the girlfriend of Jackie. Anyways, us, through the eyes of V, are presented with a variety of options according to the way we play the game, and all these varied options can affect different endings. There are around 7 endings for the entire game. The worst ending being the devil ending, which you get if you don't help and interact with the other characters, and you either go back to Earth alone in the end, or worst, become a chip of the corporations. Unfortunately, this was the ending I got during my first playthrough, and I kinda deserved it. I ignored everything the game threw at me, but in my defense, I thought the calls were optional and were integral to the storyline. So I skipped them, and the game punished me pretty hard for it. At least I chose the option to not become a chip. The other endings are great as well, but my favorite is the star ending with Pan Am because obviously. Thing is, all the endings in this game, including the star ending, you either die or face imminent death or have no friends and become a chip. Only ending where we can actually survive can be achieved through the tower ending of the Phantom Liberty DLC. Even in that, we loses all their cyberware, their friends, and the dream of becoming a legend. They survive, but lose everything in the process. What I find really mature about the game is that there's not a single circumstance where we can achieve their complete freedom. It's like Night City made sure that we can only suffer regardless of their choice. The different endings may reduce the surviving, but the bittersweet truth is that, well, I'll let Johnny say it for you.
Yes, I meant, I don't know, a happier ending for everyone involved. Here, for folks like us, wrong city, wrong people.
This is the exact reason as to why I love this game so much. It has a clear tone. The world may be visibly beautiful, but deep inside, it is unforgiving, and that aspect travels the entirety of the storyline. And that made me connect with the characters in a deeper level. Just sitting around talking and singing with your friends, lying by your girlfriend's side, just staring at the beautiful sky, and feeling the warmth, or hearing Johnny go on an endless rant about how the rise of the corpse and technology has led to the fall of the working class, and how capitalism consumes the people's minds, or how miserable you feel when V calls Jackie and talks about the current events, hoping they get a reply, only for the other end to be quiet and silent. Thanks to the much more in depth tone of the game, I felt much more connected with V and with all the other characters. But I gotta say, the reason for the redemption of this game must be attributed towards the anime, and we're going to talk about it. Cyberpunk edge runners fled the streets with tears and depression and made sure that the people will continue to have long lasting depression whenever they hear it. And thanks to the later updates, I really want to stay at your house now plays when you drive your car or when you walk the streets, you can hear it at random times, so you can have even more everlasting depression. It's truly awesome, and thanks so much for this. I gotta be honest. The anime was the sole reason that made me want to come back to the nice city after the miserable launch. They somehow nailed it after that. If I want to talk about this anime even more, I might need a lot more time because of the everlasting impact it had on me. So I'll try to keep this short. The protagonist, David Martinez, who is a street kid, enrolls in the Arasaka Academy because his mom, Gloria Martinez, wants him to have a secured future, so she worked hard so he can study and become a corporal, or in regular terms, an employee. But something terrible happens, and he witnesses his mom's death. And after that, his whole life turns upside down as he witnessed the reality of Night City and what fate there is for people with no power. He then gets his hands on a Sandevistan. It's a cyberware that slows down time for everyone except him. Then he finds Lucy, who is a netrunner, and joins a group led by Maine. And after that, it just goes up the roller coaster. And I do not want to spoil anything else, but just know it is pretty cool. And by the end, you'll be shedding Himalayas amount of tears. Believe me, I certainly did. Even though the anime had only 10 episodes, it created a long lasting effect on me, and I felt so connected with the characters like I did in the game as well. The anime actually made the game even better, in my opinion. Getting to use the gears like Rebecca's shotgun guts or wearing David's jacket, it gives a really good feeling of immersion and made the lore of the Night City even more deep. Alright, to cleanse our palates a little bit, let's talk about the fun stuff, the gameplay. I went with a guns blazing build because I'm dumb and don't know how the net running stuff works, and I had so much fun with it. The smile that V makes when they go super psycho was terrifying to listen the first time. I got genuine chills. The sandy gameplay feels so nice, and just heading straight and shotting everyone and clearing the base in a minute is the most satisfying element for me. The objectives feels mostly the same. You go to a place, you get something, or you end someone, and you come out and you deliver the stash and the mission is complete. Even though the trope is pretty much the same, the gameplay feels fresh every time. I basically never got bored out of it, and even if you do get bored out of it, you can start a new gameplay and try to play with different playstyles and builds which you can stick with. It is super fun and super satisfying. Okay, we finally reached the end of the video, and what I personally learned from Cyberpunk is that no matter what path you choose, do not give up, fight. You might sacrifice a lot, but in the end, you tried, and that's what makes you a legend. So try and try. It's what we must do. And thanks for watching this video. Now I'm gonna go cry for the 5,000th time because I just got reminded of edge runners. So I'll do that.